All right, Shalawam, Shalawam. Facing the east towards Jerusalem. All praises be to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of the great millstone, which rule well and teach well in sincerity, taught us this truth. And Shalawam to the Lord, for elect, 144,000 men, as well as 1/3 men, women, and children, maintaining themselves in this truth, keeping the laws, commandments, and statutes to the best of their ability. Shalawam, Shalawam. It's your brother Yaram Kazak back with hopefully another edifying lesson through the spirit and power of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Kakadash. Those are the true names of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. In the Paleo Hebrew, the Lashawan Kadash. All right. And that is the language which you should call upon the Father in, the Lashawan Kadash, the holy language. Okay. So today, the lesson will be entitled King of the Castle. This is what every man is. Okay. Basically, in your household, you should be the king of your castle, man. You know, it's not no happy wife, happy life. It's a happy man. That's it, period. You know, if your man is happy, you're going to be happy. Okay, what is it? Happy man, happy fam? I don't know, whatever you want to say. But if the man is happy, you're going to be happy. You taking care of that man, right? In the sense of you doing your part, you playing your role, you playing your position, then it's going to trickle down to you. He's going to take care of you, right? So let's go down. Let's go to 1 Timothy, the 3rd chapter. This is verse 1. This is the true saying, if a man desire the office of a bishop, he desireth a good work. A bishop then must be blameless, the husband of one wife, vigilant, sober, of good behavior, given to hospitality, apt to teach. Now, this doesn't mean you just have to be with one woman, okay? And that's another lesson for another time, going into the history of that. Because in that time frame, these women they had multiple husbands and things of that nature. And that's what these women are doing these days. All right. So you just got to, be honorable. You got to deal with an honorable woman. You can't have your woman in the street embarrassing you and drama and things of that nature if you're truly a bishop, a man of the church. Right. Let's get that word bishop.
Strong's G, 1985, episkopos. Episkopos.
That's the Greek, episkopos. And what does it mean? An overseer, a man charged with the duty of seeing that things to be done by others are done rightly. Any curator, guardian, or superintendent. The superintendent, elder, or overseer of an Israelite church. Okay? And that's all that the church is with, Hebrew Israelites, okay? We are the church, Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and if your bloodline goes back to Jacob. So, an overseer of the church, a man in charge, all right? A bishop. Now, keeping it going, verse 3, not given to wine, no striker, not greedy of filthy lucre, but patient, not a brawler, not covetous. So you have to have control of your emotions. You can't be out here fighting in the streets and doing things of that nature, man. You have to rule over your spirit if you want to be a leader, a man of the church. Okay? So you can't, because the key point of this is not to bring any blame to the ministry. This is what a lot of brothers and sisters do, man. They bring blame to the ministry. All right? And that's another reason why women, for that example, should not be able to rule, cannot, as said in the law, cannot rule over a congregation of people because they move off of emotions. 100%. They move off of emotions. That's their first go-to. Emotions, emotional, right? So, verse 4, one that ruleth well his own house, having his children in subjection with all gravity. All right. So what does that mean? You're the king of your castle. You're ruling over your house. You're controlling it. You're making sure that it's going in a correct way. The man is more so a disciplinary figure and every other thing. All right? We no longer go to the temple to do feast days and things of that nature, so we have to bring them out in our household. We have to, oversee the Shabbat, oversee Feast of Tabernacles, oversee Day of Atonement, right? In your own household. So you are in charge of ruling that. And it's what? It has you in a rehearsal to be that king and that priest, which you will be in the kingdom. So you are in a rehearsal state right now, right? So, verse 5, for if a man know not how to rule his own house, how shall he take care of the church of power? So, if you can't deal with your household first, have that in subjection to you, then the church is not going to be in subjection to you. The church is not going to listen to you and take heed to the things that you have to bring out to it. If I see your woman, man, messing with all these other dudes, and I know you're not ruling your household properly. You can't even control your woman. So why would I even trust and believe what's going on with you when you talking to me about the word? Okay? Now, understanding that, yeah, we are under these curses. Most definitely. But a wise man, you're going to notice those red flags and you're not going to get with this woman, and she is not pleasing you. You're going to cut her off. Okay? It ain't nothing to cut that bitch off. For real. It ain't nothing to cut her off. All right? We don't fellowship with wicked women. If she doesn't please you in the sense of, cooking, cleaning, things of that nature, and it goes on for a consistent time period, and she's just straight wicked, she's being a hindrance to the truth, you always on the corner, you always preaching, you always teaching, right? Bitch, you got to go, because you're not with the vibration that I'm bringing in my household. So this king, being the king of the castle, you're being rebellious in my kingdom. Because for us men, your house is your kingdom. If you just got a room, your room is your kingdom, right? Your car is your kingdom. This is what you, and you really don't own it 100%. You understanding that? Because Esau owns it. It's their property. That's why you have to pay property taxes, right? But in the little sense, the minuscule sense is that, yeah, this is my house. I control the rules. I control what goes on in this house, right? I ain't walking in my house scared of nothing. I ain't walking in my house, watching my voice or watching my volume now. I do it out of courtesy, let's say, because I get home around 12:30, working second shift. So when I get home, I know everybody mostly sleep. So I'm a be cool. But I ain't walking in my house scared or nothing. You got a lot of these simp type dudes. You are scared of your significant other. Because you don't want to sleep on the couch because she's running you. All right, let's get Isaiah 3:12. And that means that you're not the king of your castle. You're the queen, man. Isaiah 3:12. As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err, and destroy the way of thy paths. So a lot of these women rule over these men. And they want men that are feminine, that are weak, that are simps, that will fall to their every beg and cry. Okay? Versus a masculine man that's going to tell her to shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? They ain't looking for that. Not these fake women, but these real women. Oh, they looking for that authority. Oh, this man's a real man. Because at the end of the day, he's going to take care of you. He's going to provide. Okay? He may be austere, strict, but he's doing it to protect you. He's doing it to watch over you. He's setting guidelines and guiding you in the correct way so that you can, get in order. Right? You know what I'm saying? I see a couple people came up in here and they ran up off. A couple females came up in here and they ran up off. Because you bitches don't get it. All right? Yeah, in Jacob's trouble, man. You going to be wishing that you had listened to those brothers that was talking and describing real men. But no, you want the simp. You want the guy that's going to get on one knee and propose to your ass. Ain't nobody doing that shit. All right? So, Going back to 1 Timothy 3rd chapter. Verse 6. You can't be a novice. If you're going to be a bishop, which we went over, a bishop is an overseer of the church. Not a novice, lest being lifted up with pride, he fall into the condemnation of the devil. You can't rule over the church if you ain't got no experience. If you wasn't a good follower, how you going to be a good leader? Okay? So you have to, because you got to know when to check. You got to know when to rebuke. You got to know when to, because you don't want to be overbearing. You don't want to, sometimes you got to let a brother do this and do that and check him when it needs to be. Hold a brother accountable. Give a brother a little hint. Hey, bro, you kind of went off on that lesson. At this part right here, boom, boom, boom. Correct them. Okay? But it's some men that don't know how to do that the proper way and the correct way, and they do it the wrong way. Or maybe too harsh. Me, I'm talking about myself first and foremost. I used to be a little too harsh, right? But over time, learn how to be more calm and patient. And that's going back to apt to teach, right? A bishop, verse 2, then must be blameless, the husband of one wife, vigilant, sober, of good behavior, given the hospitality, apt to teach. You got to know how to teach. You got to know how to go about doing things and breaking down lessons and how to deal with scoffers and things of that nature. So that's applying patience. Okay? Verse 3. This, we reading it again, man. Not given to wine, no striker. You can't be out here fighting. Not greedy of filthy lucre. Your greed, like a Nathaniel or Alizé, right? But patient. Not a brawler. Not covetous. You got to be patient. All right? So you have to rule over your spirit. Let's get that. This is Proverbs 25 and 28. He that hath no rule over his own spirit is like a city that is broken down and without walls. So his castle is going to be broken down. His household is going to be broken down. This man doesn't have a rule over his spirit. So, first and foremost, his house, which is his temple, is going to be broken down. He's not correcting it. He's giving in to every lustful thing. He's giving in to those donuts. He's giving in to those muffins, like on a consistent basis. He ain't got no type of diet, no type of what's the word, man? Restraint. He has no type of restraint. So that right there leads to you not having no restraint with women, not having no restraint with video games, not having no restraint with everything else. You don't have a balance. So you're not set up to be a bishop. You're not set up to be a leader of a church. We see these guys getting exposed for perverse things that they like to do, wicked things that they like to do because their flesh is ruling over them. Their flesh is taking over them. So they never should have been in the position of being a bishop because they're not patient. Okay? And they don't truly study the scriptures. All right? So for one example, Alizé, he rebuked an elder. The scriptures say don't rebuke an elder. Right? The scriptures say don't curse the king. Our king right now is, in a sense, Elder Apostle Tahar. He's the one that's ruling over us right now. Right? So you found it upon yourself to curse the king. Because that's the ruler over here. Look what happened to men when they cursed the king in the old days. Korah, Abram, right? Look at these men that cursed the king. Okay? They got swallowed up in the earth, man. So if you're not patient, you're not really diligent, and you're misusing the scriptures, you're using the word deceitfully, then you are cursed, according to Jeremiah 48 and 10. All right, so back to 1 Timothy, the 3rd chapter. Well, I'm going to read 6 again. You can't be a novice, not a novice, lest being lifted up with pride. Because when you begin to get a congregation, when you begin to get people coming to you, asking you this and asking you that, it's going to mess with your ego. Oh, man, they think but if you humble and you meek through all of that, you're going to know how to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm happy I dealt with a little bit of fame in the musical sense. So I know how to deal with it, and I know it's all bullshit. Okay? Because a lot of people you got to really check who's sincere. A lot of people in the music industry, they just trying to mess with you because you hot, or you got a little money, or you got this and you got that, or you got these connects. I saw all of that, right? So I figured it out. I started okay, this dude messing with this. Okay, boom. Oh, they think I'm cool because I was just with blah, 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 or bloom, boom, bloom. So it's clout. That's what they be on. And that's not sincere. If you hanging with somebody because of the clout, that's not sincere. That's not a real individual, man. So that's where that pride comes in. Because you see these weak. You see these weak, and it's the same thing in the truth. You got these weak guys. You just came into the truth 2 months ago. And now you're trying to tell brothers how to do things. What is up with that? All right, verse 6. Not a novice, lest being lifted up with pride, he fall into the condemnation of the devil. You're going to fall right into the trap that was set for you. Moreover, he must have a good report of them which are without, lest he fall into reproach and the snare of the devil. Likewise, must the deacons be grave, not double-tongued, not given to much wine, not greedy of filthy lucre, holding the mystery of the faith and a pure conscience. Hey, we look at Bishop Nathaniel, double-tongued. You teach the name of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, and then you teach the name of Jesus Christ. Is that not double-tongued? Is that not... Let's get double-minded man. Is that not double-tongued? Because that's what that means. James 1:8, a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. So this is what I'm saying. When you're double-minded and double-tongued in one avenue, then all your paths are going to be unstable. And that leads down to the way you keep the laws, the way you look at the Shabbat. You think that the new moon is the full moon. That leads down to all of that, right? We have a full moon tonight. That's the full moon. Even Esau will tell you that's the full moon. It's full. It has grown up to its perfection, and it decreases from its perfection, going back into a new moon eventually. It's no debate with that, right? But you got some clowns that don't understand because they are unstable in all their ways. As the scriptures say, as the king is, so is his officers. So the men that are under that person, they're going to be just like him. Double-minded, double-tongued, unstable in all his ways. Because that's what's taught with that congregation. Right? So let's go back. And let's read verse 8 again, man. Likewise, must the deacons be grave, not double-tongued, not given to much wine, not greedy of filthy lucre. Let's get that word grave.
Strong's G 4586. Semnos. Semnos.
Semnos in the Greek. August, venerable. Hey, I love that word. Reverend. Venerable means deserving of respect. All right? To be venerated for character. Honorable. And what is our elders? They're deserving of respect. Right? They're deserving of respect. So, venerable, grave. So, these are honorable men. You look at them and these are honorable men, man. You know, at their ages, bringing out consistent videos, the correct information, never wavering, never falling, never making excuses. They set that perfect example. Those are perfect men. Those are blameless men. You know, take it back to the top. Take it back to the top. Verse 2, a bishop then must be blameless. So a blameless man is a grave man, a venerable man, a man that's deserving of respect, an honorable man. This is the type of men that we are being molded into. We are being built up to be because we follow those type of men. So we are going to be like those type of men because you are what you eat. Hey, let's get that real quick. All right. This is Luke 11:34. The light of the body is the eye. Therefore, when thine eye is single, thy whole body also is full of light. But when thine eye is evil, thy body also is full of darkness. Take heed, therefore, that the light which is in thee be not darkness. So what are you taking into your body? What are you eating? What are you digesting? What is being new? Is it nutritious or is it detrimental? That goes into everything, man. Because it's really just a bunch of spirits out here bouncing from one person to another. So are you feeding on a good spirit or are you feeding on a bad spirit? Are you watching too much bullshit? All right? You know what I'm saying? Because we like I said, I'm watching the Raising Canaan right now. I watched the Reacher. You know what I'm saying? I had another show I was watching, The Wolf King. It's like a little cartoon. So we watch shows, things of that nature, but we put more emphasis and effort into Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. Always. All right? So we always going to put more effort into Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. You know what I'm saying? I just got out the yard. So exercise is it profited for little, but it does profit. You know? Get your body moving. Get it in. Man, shut the fuck up. All right? Baruch. What's your name? Baruch 144K. He said, you can't be teaching and cursing, fam. Tighten up. Yeah, get up out of here, dog. Because you don't... Matter of fact, we going to teach you. Because you don't have no understanding properly. Okay? You come in here being contentious. You didn't even come in here... You didn't even say Shalawam. You didn't even say Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Barak, nothing like that. You just came in here and was straight contentious, off rip. Okay? I've never seen you before, never dealt with you before. You an agent, dude. Alright? I'm gonna block you. Yeah, I ain't even gonna deal with it. We're gonna block you. Because a lot of you men are taught wrong. A lot of you men are not real men. You don't understand. Ramon say, if I stop cursing, mine, take instruction, brother. What? I don't even know what you saying. I'm going to get you up out of here too. All right, anyway. Get the goofies up out of here. Let's keep it going. And this is going back. The title, once again, being King of the Castle. All right? Khan. Yeah, they goofy. They always come in trying to correct somebody. They just goofy. Okay? So, verse 9. This is 1 Timothy 3:9. Holding the mystery of the faith in a pure conscience. And let these also first be proved. Then let them use the office of a deacon, being found blameless. Okay? Being found blameless. And I could tell, man, you know, it's lingering on my mind. Those dudes are just, that if you talk wrong, then you're going to go around teaching wrong. And that's what that dude Baruch is teaching. And your name is spelled wrong. Why can't you just put Barak, man? You know what I'm saying? But you out of here. But just to address it real quick, if you talk wrong, you're going to teach wrong. And then it's going to consistently be wrong. So that cycle of wrongness, that cycle of offness is going to exist. You know? Now, we may cuss every now and then and whatever. It's not like I'm in here cuss. I don't even think before this, I don't even think I cussed that much. That's the thing. Okay? That's the thing. But you obviously must have been, I don't know. You felt that you was sent. You know? And that dude had, what, 76,000 followers, man. Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, I ain't dealing with you, dude. It be those type of dudes, man. All right? All right, verse 10. And let these also first be proved. So we have been proved through the Spirit. sent through the gauntlet, rebuked, reproved, corrected, checked, and more so by Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. I bet he don't go out and preach. I bet he ain't been proved. Most likely don't even got no elders. He didn't, like I said, he didn't even salute when he came in here. Off rip. All right, verse 11. Even so, must their wives be grave, not slanderous, sober, faithful in all things. So, as a bishop, your wife must be in order. And that goes back to you ruling your household correctly and in order. So if you are in order, then your wife is going to be order. So grave, once again, what does it mean? Venerable, honorable. So your wife will be in an honorable state. All right? An example of what a true Israelite woman should be. Now, I'm doing this lesson because it inspired me. We was in the live yesterday, Brother Yasharahla and me and Brother Matazaba was in the comments. And it was this chick on there. Her name is, I put her on my page. It's Prothetic, whatever her name is. You can go on my page and check. Prothetic something. But she thinks she's a prophet, basically. And she was in there going back and forth with the Brother Yasharahla. Okay? Hold up, I'm going to go get her right now. All right, this is her right here. What's her name? Nayetta Rachel. And her name is Prophetic something. Okay? And she tried to rebuke Yasharahla. It's just an in-dub woman, man. Okay? She's trying to teach and things of that nature. This is not the way that a woman should be in Israel. She believes a woman can lead a congregation. That was her argument. That was her point. Okay? So, yeah, she's got that Jezebel spirit. As Jezebel ruled over Ahab, she has that Jezebel spirit, you know? And she was in the live going back and forth and getting cut by Yasharahla and getting cut by the other brothers that was in there. But she still couldn't take the rebuke. She still couldn't take the correction. So these are these type of women. That woman is not a grave woman. She's not an example. She's not an honorable woman. She's a very wicked woman, the opposite of this verse. Once again, even so must their wives be graved, not slanderous, sober, faithful in all things. Now she told us, because Yasharahla asked her, do you have a husband? She said, yes, he's a business owner, etc. She tried to flaunt. Like, nobody cares about your money. Nobody cares about your business. Nobody cares about none of that. Is he a man of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi? That's the main question. And obviously he's not, because you're running your big mouth on this platform among men. That's very embarrassing. Okay? So a bishop's wife would never be in that position. Never. Never be in that position, man. Exactly. And Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi will bring that woman and her husband low if they don't repent and turn to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi and get in order. And that's the only reason for a rebuke, is to get somebody in order. I'm not going to rebuke a fool. The scriptures say don't even rebuke a fool. Let him be. But if you got a zeal for Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, I'm going to try to help you in whatever way I can. I get that for you. You know? And we can tell off the example of her that man is not the king of his castle. Because your woman is out in the street embarrassing you. Because for you women, what you do out here, if you are married, you are a representation of your husband. If you are not married, you are a representation of your father. Okay? So how your father raised you. If your father didn't raise you, then you just a representation of your mama. You know? But you are still a representation of your house. So you are representing your family. Take it back to the movie Mulan, man. She was really trying to bring her father's name to some honor. You know, so she went out there and did what she did. You know, even though that's off, but it was very honorable. And Moab and Ammon is very honorable. Before I get this scripture, I'm going to talk a little bit about it. Because I was dealing with an Ammonite when I was in Japan. And it was her family was honorable. So because they are actually kind of racist in Japan. So she was ashamed to show me to her mother. Even though we have been messing with each other for like maybe 3 months, 4 months, right? So she was ashamed to show me to her mother because it was kind of frowned upon to mess with Jake. So they had got a hotel and I got a hotel room and I had to pretend like I didn't know her when I saw her and things of that nature because of the honor. And I was like, okay, I understand it. It's all good. I ain't tripping. Because I know how the culture is here. You know what I'm saying? I know how the culture is. So let's get into it. Ecclesiasticus 26 and 23. A wicked woman is given as a portion to a wicked man, but a godly woman is given to him that feareth Yahawah. Exactly. You know, a dishonest woman contemneth shame, but an honest woman will reverence her husband. What's that mean? To be grave. If you go back to it, if you go back to the word grave, it means to be reverenced. Right? Right there. Salakia. Reverence. All right? To be honorable, venerable, deserving of respect. So a righteous woman, she's going to honor that man. Right? But an honest woman will reverence her husband, honor him, look at him as her Lord. You know? A shameless woman shall be counted as a bitch, a dog. But she that is shamefaced will fear Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. If you fear Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, you're going to be in order. Right? You're going to be in order. Okay? For you people in the comments, I saw somebody in the comments being completely out of order, asking me questions that's not pertaining to the subject. You are completely out of order. When you come in here, you can ask, what's the topic? You know, and then start taking notes off the scriptures that we're breaking down. We're breaking something down right now. This is not on-demand pay-per-view where you get whatever the fuck you want. This is not that. A lot of you heathens and you 2/3 Jakes and you people that just don't understand, you are going to be set back in order. We are going into a kingdom that's in order. Right now, you are in an unruly disorder kingdom where you would come in somebody's classroom, because this is a classroom setting, and just ask whatever you feel that's on the top of your mind. That's not order. All right? And that's showing also that you don't read the scriptures. Okay? All right, so wrapping it up, we're going to finish up 1 Timothy 3rd chapter. Let's read it one more time, verse 11. Even so must their wives be grave, so venerable, honorable, deserving of respect, not slanderous, sober, faithful in all things. Let the deacons be the husbands of one wife, ruling their children and their own houses well. Now, we talked about that earlier. That doesn't mean that you have to have one woman. You can have multiple women. We talked about what was going on at the time period, how women was having multiple husbands and things of that nature. Okay, because we know in the kingdom we will be kings and priests, and a little one will be 1,000. We will have a lot of different women. We say that all the time. What's crazy is where all these people, when you do Q&As, these people don't come around. But when I'm doing a lesson on a specific topic, they come in asking questions. Y'all need to come to the Q&As, man. This is not that. But you know they don't got no patience and they're not sincere because they're not going to wait for a Q&A. I want it now. I want it now. Yeah, you're going to get a nuke now. Trust and believe that. All right? You know? And if you really wanted the answer to your question, you would just go study the page. Go look at my page. It's countless breakdowns. You will find out who Yahawah is, and you will find out who Yahawashi is if you just look at my page. Okay? Verse 13. For They that have used the office of a deacon well purchase to themselves a good degree and great boldness in the faith which is in Hamashiach Yahawashi. These things write I unto thee, hoping to come unto thee shortly. But if I tarry long, that thou mayest know how thou oughtest to behave thyself in the house of power, which is the church of the living power, the pillar and ground of the truth. And without controversy, great is the mystery of godliness. Power was manifest in the flesh, justified in the spirit, seen of angels, preached unto the Gentiles, believed in the world, received up into glory. Okay? So, that's pretty much conclusion of it. All right? And that's speaking about Yahawashi. All right? Preached unto the Gentiles by Paul. And Gentiles meaning Israelites that were scattered. All right? Being Hellenized. Hellenistes, right? Hellenistes. So Hellenized, becoming Romans, becoming Corinthians, becoming Galatians, becoming Philippians. All right? Becoming all these different type of, coming up in all these different type of geographical places where Greeks live, right? But not being Greeks themselves. All these other nations that were conquered by the Greeks were Hellenized. Okay? So, to wrap it up, you have to be the king of your castle. You should be grave, which means venerable, honorable, a man deserving of respect. And your woman, if you have a woman, should be grave. A woman that deserves, deserving of respect because of how she carries herself. So offer your characteristics, offer your actions, because faith is an action-based word. It's something that you do. It's not something that you just say. It's something that you do and you live out. All right? That's your faith. You know what I'm saying? Okay? So, hey, man, with that being said, I hope this was an edifying lesson to all that caught it. I'm going to turn to the east, face Jerusalem. All praises be to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of the great millstone, which rule well and teach well in sincerity, taught us this truth. And Shalawam to the Lord's hopeful elect. As always, Kwam Yasharahla, rise Israel, and a ball to this wicked kingdom. May this bitch fall soon. And that's for that brother Barak. That's for that brother Barak. You told me to stop cussing. May this bitch fall soon. All right? That's the spirit that we in, boy. Get up out of here, man, because this bitch is a bitch. It is a whore. It is a disgusting environment to be in. All right, man. You people are unrealistic, man. Unrealistic type guys. You are really just Christians. That dude Barak 144, he's a Christian, but he knows he's a Hebrew Israelite, but with a Christian mindset. Hey, man, you should stop cussing, man. That's not... Shut up, dude. Shut up. He's not the king of his castle. Yeah, he's a simp. He's a simp. Unrealistic. When shit start popping out here, literally popping, pew-pews and things of that nature all out here, you going to be worrying about cussing? That's the last of your words. you going to be worrying about keeping your head from getting chopped off. You're going to be worrying about your mama and your daddy and if they okay. You're going to be worrying about these type of things. But you over here in my live talking about stop cussing. These dudes goofy, man. Hey, so with that being said, Shalawam, Shalawam, Shalawam. All right, Shalawam to you brothers and sisters. Shalawam.